She thought she was fully covered. Then, she got the hospital bill. $38,700. Her out-of-pocket share? $3,120. You might be wondering why. Well, she had a Shield plan, just no rider. And the scary part is, this isn't some rare one-off scenario. This is just Singapore healthcare.
Welcome to this Colpadium Capital Explainer. I'm your host, and let's just get real for a second. Do you know exactly what your integrated Shield plan covers right now? Like, do you actually know your deductible? Do you even have a rider? Look, if you're hesitating right now, you're definitely not alone. Health insurance is, hands down, the most skipped topic in personal finance. It feels complicated, maybe kind of boring, right? Until the very day you actually need it. And there's a massive, urgent reason we're talking about this today. Starting in April 2026, the Ministry of Health is rolling out new requirements for all integrated Shield plan riders. Whether you're holding an old plan or you're shopping for a new one, the rules are fundamentally changing. Most Singaporeans literally haven't even looked at what this means for them yet. But don't stress, I've done all the heavy lifting and research so you don't have to.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First, we'll build the insurance foundation. Then, we'll dive right into the 4 massive mistakes Singaporeans make: having no rider, buying way too late, unclear costs, and never reviewing their plan. Finally, we'll wrap the whole thing up with your specific 2026 action plan.
Section 1. The Insurance Foundation. Let's look at how this actually works.
Before we get into those super costly mistakes, we really need to build a solid conceptual foundation. Honestly, most of the confusion out there just comes from not knowing what sits on top of what. So, step 1, right at the base, is MediShield Life. This is mandatory, it's run by the government, and it covers everyone for life. But here's the catch you gotta remember. It only covers Class B2 and C wards in public hospitals. Step 2 is your Integrated Shield Plan, or ISP. Think of this as your optional upgrade layer. It's private insurance that bumps your coverage all the way up to Class A, B1, or even full private hospitals. And the good news is, your premiums here are partly payable from MediSave. Finally, Step 3, sitting right at the very top, is the rider. This is an optional add-on to your ISP. You pay for it entirely in cash, and it acts as a buffer to significantly reduce your personal out-of-pocket costs when you actually make a claim. Keep this 3-layer stack in your head, because it's the absolute key to everything else we're going to talk about.
Moving on to Section 2. Mistake number 1. No rider. This is the most common error.
Having an ISP but no rider is literally the most financially dangerous mistake you can make. See, you pay your ISP premiums for MediSave, so you feel covered, right? And you just assume you're fully protected at private hospitals. But that is completely wrong. Let's break down the exact math of a private hospital bill so we can pin these abstract concepts down to real, painful dollar amounts. Imagine you get a hospital bill for $38,700. First off, you have to clear a deductible. Let's say it's $3,500. Even after you pay that, you still owe what's called a co-insurance percentage. That's typically 5 to 10% of the remaining eligible bill, which comes out to about $1,760 in this example. So suddenly, your total out-of-pocket cost without a rider is floating somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 in cash. And that's on top of whatever MediSave is already covering. This is exactly what blindsides people when they don't have that Layer 3 rider attached to their plan.
But hey, there is a silver lining here, and it's a completely critical 2026 update you need to know about. From April 2026, the MOH introduced some new rules. The old riders, they used to cover almost everything, including the deductible, which basically made premiums skyrocket by like 17% a year. It was crazy. Under the new rules, riders no longer cover your deductible. That first chunk is your responsibility. However, the copayment cap is now raised to $6,000 per year, and in exchange for that, new riders are actually significantly more affordable. We are talking roughly 30% cheaper than before. The absolute crucial point here is the difference between capped risk and open risk. With a new rider, you have a capped risk. You pay your deductible up to $3,500 plus a maximum copayment of $6,000. That means your absolute worst-case scenario ceiling in a bad year is $9,500. It's a known number you can actually plan for. But without a rider, you have total open-ended coinsurance exposure. Think about it. If your bill is $200,000, 10% of that is a massive hit to your savings. So, for most Singaporeans, getting a rider is absolutely still the right call to cap that terrifying open-ended risk.
All right, Section 3, mistake number 2, buying late. Believe me, waiting costs you.
So many people fall straight into this trap. They feel totally fine in their 20s, so they just put off buying coverage. Then hidden health issues start creeping up in their 30s and 40s. But I really want you to let this sink in. Insurance is not bought with money. It is bought with your health. The industry honestly does a pretty poor job of explaining this, but the very moment you're diagnosed with a condition, even something silent like high blood pressure or high cholesterol, your insurer can legally charge you higher premiums with risk loading. They could exclude that specific condition entirely, or even just flat out decline to cover you at the private hospital level. Your health status, not the size of your wallet, is what dictates your eligibility.
Think about the financial cost of waiting. At age 30, an estimated annual IP premium is right around $500. Fast forward to age 40, and it jumps to $750. By 50, it spikes to a whopping $1,600 for the exact same coverage. Every single year you delay, it costs you way more in premiums, and it potentially costs you your coverage options if your health happens to change. You absolutely have to lock this in while you're healthy. I want you to take a quick second to reflect right now. When did you actually buy your ISP? Are you already fully covered, or are you still putting it off? Heck, maybe you just realized you don't even have a rider. Let me know in the comments below. It's incredibly important to just recognize where you currently stand on this timeline.
Okay, Section 4, mistake number 3, unclear costs. You've got to know what you owe.
This mistake right here is what causes absolute post-hospitalization shock when the bill just doesn't match what you expected. So let's translate these frustrating insurance terms into plain English. First up, the deductible. Simply put, this is the fixed amount you pay first before your insurance covers a single cent. And remember, it resets every single policy year. If you stay in a private hospital, that deductible is typically around $3,500. Under the new April 2026 rules, your riders cannot cover this. Period. It is your first dollar contribution.
Next up is co-insurance. So once you've actually paid your deductible, you aren't completely off the hook. Co-insurance is your percentage share of the remaining eligible bill. It's typically around 5 to 10%. You really need to understand that you still owe this cut of the bill, even after that deductible has been fully cleared. And finally, the copayment cap. You can think of this as your ultimate safety ceiling. It's the absolute maximum co-insurance you can be asked to pay in a single policy year. Under the old riders, this cap was $3,000. For new riders from April 2026 onwards, the cap is $6,000. Please note, though, that this cap does not include your deductible. But once you understand these 3 terms, no hospital bill will ever blindside you again.
Section 5. Mistake number 4. No reviews. The danger of just setting and forgetting it. This is easily the quietest mistake of all, setting up a policy in your 20s and literally never looking at it again. You absolutely must review your ISP when. First, you go through major life changes, like getting married or having a kid. Second, if you face a really significant premium increase at your renewal. Third, if you change jobs and end up losing or gaining corporate coverage. Just as a good habit, you should review it every 3 to 5 years anyway. But most importantly, review it now. The April 2026 rule changes affect everyone. If you have an older rider, your insurer is going to transition you to a new compliant rider by 2028 whether you plan for it or not. You need to figure out what that means for your wallet today.
Finally, Section 6, your 2026 Action Plan. Here's what to do today.
All right, that's enough anxiety over mistakes for one day. Let's pivot to some actual empowerment with 3 highly practical steps you can take. Step 1. Log right into your CPF healthcare dashboard today. Know for sure exactly what your current ISP and rider status is. Step 2. Know your 3 numbers, your deductible, your co-insurance percentage, and your annual cap. Seriously, write them down somewhere safe. And step 3. If you have an existing rider, pick up the phone, call your insurer, and ask them about your specific April 2026 transition timeline. Just knowing these 3 simple things completely changes you from a passive payer into an empowered, fully protected patient. Let me challenge you right now. Do you know your deductible amount off the top of your head? Like, be totally honest. Most people don't. And that is exactly the knowledge gap this explainer cures. Go find out today. Please don't wait until you're stressed out standing in a hospital admission line. Because the core thesis here is this: insurance is entirely theoretical until the exact moment you need it. Early, proactive engagement with your healthcare setup is what prevents those devastating financial surprises down the line. Check your CPF healthcare dashboard today. Honestly, it might just be the most financially protective 15 minutes you spend all year.
And that brings us to the end of today's CoPTM Capital Explainer. I really want to know what complex financial topic we should demystify next. Should we decode critical illness insurance? Maybe do a deep dive on MediShield Life? Or how about a side-by-side comparison of all 7 ISP insurers in Singapore? Drop your thoughts below. Your comments literally decide what we cover next. And hey, share this with someone who has never looked at their policy document. You might just save them a very, very expensive surprise. I'll see you in the next one.